Hey everybody, I know that you're not used to seeing me in this room. This is my new room, just moved. That's why there's boxes back there. So I just wanted to give you guys a little intro here. This video that you're about to watch is probably going to be the most impactful and important video I've made yet. And the topic is not about me today. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a couple seconds here, but I really hope you enjoy. Again, thank you for your support, and enjoy the video. Hey guys, I hope everyone's having a great day. If you have not seen my Instagram story, this is another new video. This is Christian. He is one of my really good friends, even though I met him a few months ago.
Just a couple months ago.
Yeah, we haven't known each other that long, but we've become pretty close pretty fast. The thing about doing this is that it reaches a lot of people, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. And Christian is one of the people that it reached. Mm-hmm. And did you know that I was doing suicide awareness when you met me?
No.
No?
Actually, I had no idea.
Okay. So I guess he heard about that through me just talking about it, because this is one of the things I do all the time. But he had something that related to it and wanted to talk about it but didn't know how to. And this is his platform to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him that opportunity, and I told him I'd be here with him for it, and I'm gonna ask him some questions so that way he can tell you guys what's up and get it out there. So,
okay.
So what did you say to me the other night? I'm the only person other than a few other people.
Yeah. So Ben is the only other person that now knows, except for just two other really close friends, just outside family. Nobody else really knows.
Gotcha. And I remember like a couple weeks back, Christian was helping me through something I was going through, and he said, you know, I'll always be here for you. You're like a brother to me, and we have more in common than you know. And that kind of confused me a little bit. I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. But when he told me what he's about to tell you, it made a lot of sense. A little background. When we've gone to Christian's house, there's a picture of his parents on the fridge. And as you can tell, he's got a little bit of a darker complexion than I do, and I'm very, very white. But so we are always like, Christian, how are your parents white and you're darker? And he's like, oh, my grandpa, he's darker, so I'm darker. And we're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then we just left it at that. So that's how he brought up this topic to me, was referencing that. And what did you say to me after that?
So the thing that a lot of people, actually almost everybody, doesn't know about me is that I actually lost my father to suicide in 2009 when I was 7 years old, and his name was Ben. Yeah, I've been shy ever since I was a little kid to tell anybody, because I thought I would be outcast. But now I know that there are a lot of people out there affected with this same, sort of issue, I guess, if you want to call it that. But, yeah.
Yeah, and it's, it's not something like, he said he's shy to talk about it. And it's something I can relate to that, because when I was 13 and I lost my mom, I didn't want the school to know. I didn't want anybody to know. Yeah. I wanted to tell people when I was ready to tell people. And yeah, there's, I think the reason for doing this is to show that there are people afflicted with, loss of family members through suicide or loss of loved ones. And the next step is just talking about it. And that's why I'm really glad that Christian's here and able to talk about it now, because people do need support groups, and they need to realize that they're not alone in what they're going through.
Yes.
And I hope that you feel that you're not alone now.
I do now.
Okay, good. Based off of my experience when I lost my mom, I felt, I was in shock. Like, I cried maybe for like 3 minutes, and then when I found out, and then like for the next month I shut down, and I didn't know whether to believe it. It didn't set in yet. Like, it was really confusing. So how did you feel when it happened? Because you were so young
I
compared
was-
to how old I was.
I was very young. So, kind of like what Ben said, initially when I first heard the news, I was very shocked. I think I just sat there because I remember sitting on the kitchen floor when the news was broken. I was at my grandparents' house. Yeah, and it was just, I didn't know what to think because it's so sudden and so strange. I guess you don't really know what to think in situations like that, but you know, after you let it sit and process, after the adrenaline kind of fades, then it hits you, and then you just, you know, you feel the overwhelming feelings of just sadness and loss.
Yeah.
And then you kind of bottle that up for the time being, or you cope with it.
And it, like, it's been what, 10 years?
Actually, yeah, this year's 10 years.
10 years. So in those 10 years, has, like, you know, it gotten better and then come back? Has it gotten better and stayed better? Or is it just kind of come in waves?
Yeah, waves. Actually, that's a good way.
Waves?
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it, because you know, every so often you have kind of like a breakdown almost. You know,
I know what you're talking about.
but then you get better, and it just happens.
Yeah. And like you said about bottling it up, that's something that I did a lot, that a lot of people do. And that's when the breakdowns become really severe, because you go months without talking to anybody and without letting people know, and then you just can't do it anymore. Like, I remember I would be on my kitchen floor and I just could not stop crying, and I'd be like whispering under my breath, like, I miss my mom, I wish she was here. And you know, losing someone that close to you, that has like been a prominent figure in your life since you were born, that is very difficult to process.
Very. Yeah.
And like Christian said, and like I've said in videos before, it doesn't ever truly go away. You know, nothing you go through in your life, whether it's what we've gone through, whether it's, you know, something like a bad school year, something like that, you'll never feel the same way. You'll feel those effects for a long time. And they might not be consistent, they might not be constant, but you'll still feel them. They're not going away. It's just how you learn to cope and how you learn to deal with what's happened. So what did you do to cope and deal with it?
Wow. Again, so I was very little.
Very young?
So for the longest time, I did actually keep it in, and that was hard to do. But then I found some friends, like friends that developed into very close friends. So like you and now Riley, Riley and now you. And just surrounding yourself with people that you can talk about it with, like family. That's obviously like the first group of people that you kind of want to associate with. But then friends, if you can start branching out, talking to people really just makes everything so much better. Yeah, that's just how you get everything out.
Yeah. You know, just not bottling it up and making sure you have a good solid support group, and friends and family are important in that.
Yeah.
Now, what finally made you want to talk about it? Like, what was the trigger? Because I know my trigger, and it was there was a community member in Issaquah, I'm not going to name names, but he passed away right before I started this organization, and right before I started doing suicide awareness stuff. And I remember Connor told me, we need to do something. You need to do something. And I was like, you're right, I do. I need to talk about it. I need to get it out there. Because, you know, right now you're looking at a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. We're young. We have had to deal with it. He's had to deal with it longer than I have. It's something so hard, but if you can see that people like us, we're just normal kids. But we deal with this every day of our lives. And having to find ways to be okay, it's tough. And we want to help because we don't want anybody to have to deal with the same stuff we've dealt with.
Yeah.
We want to steer people away from making that dreadful decision. And yeah, so that was my trigger, was just a loss of an important community member in Issaquah. What was yours?
Well, honestly, it's gonna get kind of gushy, but like I just felt like a deep connection to you through this, because you know we've both lost parents. I felt like it was finally time to just talk about it, you know, get it out to the people watching this. So yeah,
it's always a mature moment when you do that, and it's a hard, tough moment to finally make that decision and let it all out. But yeah, it's just important to know that you're not alone, and that you have people that will help you through anything. You know?
Like, one thing I didn't know is that before I met Ben, I didn't know that he actually had this organization and that he was affected in the same way, or at least a similar way that I was. So when I found out that, you know, he was kind of in the same circumstance, I just felt compelled to do something about it, you know, because I didn't realize that there were this many people out there affected by suicide, and it's a very real thing, because it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very.
Yeah. You don't really think about it until it happens to you, and we don't want it to get to the point where it happens to any of you.
It's a very horrible thing to go through.
Yeah, because you always ask the question, like, could I have done more? Because it's a really preventable thing, but also there's, you know, cases where you're young and your parent, you know, does something that you wish they didn't do, and you know, like in my case, I was 13. I didn't know what was going on. I just thought my mom was acting weird. You know, he was 7. You know, so it's not something you always see coming. I hate to say it, but you need as much help as you can get in this situation.
The thing about the hotline too is that a lot of the people that are working on the phones are volunteers, and they have gone through similar things. Like they're usually somehow affected by some form of suicide, whether they know somebody or have dealt with these emotions themselves. So if you do need to talk, we would heavily suggest calling them, because they are ready to help and they know what it feels like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add?
Sure. Yeah. If you ever think that you're alone, just in general, like in life, I guarantee you that you're not alone, and that things do get better. There are hard times, but things do get better. Yeah, that just kind of a jumble of words, but like.
No, you're right, man.
I mean, yeah. So.
No, and you know, it's really hard to get through those tough times, but again, like Christian said, you're not alone. There's always a way to get through it. There's always people willing to help, and people that'll pick you up when you fall down.
Family, friends.
Counselors, teachers, other trusted adults.
Trusted adults.
So just don't feel like you got to go through this alone. But again, reach out if you need anything, okay? I always leave my personal Instagram and the BCH Suicide Awareness Instagram in the description. And Christian now wants to join BCH Suicide Awareness, as I was told.
Correct.
So we do have plans to do public speaking again. I have plans to organize events for that. Just got to get those rolling. I know I say that a lot, but
it's happening.
It's happening. Trust me, it is happening. So are these sweatshirts and t-shirts. Those are happening too. Now, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, but what my thinking is that if I print about 15 of each, sweatshirt and t-shirt, the first 30 people to a speaking event will get a free one, and it will be on us, so you guys can rep this organization and show support for those dealing with suicide and dealing with mental health. Because, again, trying to show people that they're not alone. And Christian will be there speaking with me. Connor will be there speaking with me, even though I tell you all the time that he's going to be here, and he's just busy, and our schedules don't match, but he will, I promise, and Riley too, and one of our other friends, Lauren, wants to help out as well. So, again, we are a bunch of people that just want to help, and we're a bunch of people that you can talk to. So, stay tuned for more videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. I told them, I filmed a little intro before you got here, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I told them that I think this could be the most meaningful video we've done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it took a lot of strength for him to open up, one, to me, and two, to you guys. Now it's out there, you know, and he made that decision, and making that decision again is really, really tough, but he did it, and that's really powerful, really meaningful, and impactful. So props to him, and I feel for you, dude. I really do. I'm here, man. All right.
Okay.
Brotherly love.
No.
All right. But again, hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.